Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we will explore one of the most powerful tools for solving differential equations using deep learning. That is this DeepXDE library. This DeepXDE library, so this is the documentation of this library. So this DeepXDE library is a Python library designed specially to solve a wide range of differential equations. These differential equations can include any type actually. So for example, if you look at here, it can solve ordinary differential equations, time independent partial differential equations, time dependent equations, integral differential equations, fractional partial differential equations. Overall, you can solve many types of differential equations using this DeepXDE library. So what makes it unique is its ability to handle complex boundary conditions and initial conditions. And another thing is the support of these many neural network libraries as backend. For example, with DeepXDE, you can use TensorFlow, PyTorch, JAX, Paddle. So you can use any of this as your neural network backend. Today in this tutorial, we will walk through the basics of this library, understand its basic syntax, and then solve one example, this example, Poisson equation in 1D, step by step to see how we can use it in practice. Before we jump into this actual coding, we need to first set up this environment, because if you want to run this Jupyter notebook in your system, you have to set up this environment appropriately so that you can run this Jupyter notebook in your machines as well. Let's look at that. So the process is simple. Here in this tutorial, I'm running this Jupyter notebook from my WSL environment. I have installed this DeepXDE library and supporting PyTorch and other TensorFlow libraries within this WSL, and from there I'm calling this Jupyter notebook and using them. But this works exceptionally well on Windows machines, Linux machines, other Linux machines, MacBooks, everything. But when you wish to use Windows machine, we have a limitation with TensorFlow, because normal TensorFlow will work, but if you want to use GPUs with TensorFlow, that will not normally work in the Windows machine. Either you have to use Linux machine, or if you want to use Windows machine, you have to compulsorily install WSL. There's no other alternative. But for PyTorch and JAX, Paddle, there's no problem. You can use in any machines actually. But PyTorch and this TensorFlow are two popularly used libraries. So I don't know how far JAX and Paddle supports this DeepXDE library, but you can expect a good support for this PyTorch and TensorFlow. So before installing this DeepXDE, you have to install this TensorFlow and this PyTorch. So the process is simple. Open your Anaconda prompt, just type pip install torch or pip install TensorFlow. Any one, either torch or TensorFlow is sufficient. You no need to use both. After installing this TensorFlow or PyTorch, you have to use this DeepXDE library, which you can install using this pip install DeepXDE command. Just write this in the Anaconda prompt. If you are using WSL, you can just directly type here, or if you are using Windows, then you have to install your library via pip package from this Anaconda prompt. There are many ways. You can directly install it from Jupyter Notebook as well. That's not a problem. But this is the way to install this DeepXDE. But after installing this DeepXDE and TensorFlow and PyTorch, you have to install some other dependencies like Matplotlib, NumPy library, scikit-learn, scikit-optimize, scipy. So these functions you can install the latest versions, no problem. You can just go ahead with pip install matplotlib, pip install numpy, pip install scikit-learn, like that. Okay, and post that here if you want to use this DeepXDE from your Docker image, so you can follow these instructions. After that, you have to set this backend variable. So as I said, this DeepXDE library works with both PyTorch and TensorFlow, right? So what you wish to use, if you wish to use PyTorch as your backend, then you have to set that variable. If you wish to use TensorFlow as your backend, then you need to set that variable. How to set that? So here they have given some instructions. So here you have to set this DDE backend variable with this variable tensorflow.compat.v1 if you want to use TensorFlow 1x. If you want to use TensorFlow 2x, you have to set this DDE backend variable. This is your environment variable. Keep that in mind. So you have to set that with TensorFlow and follow some additional instructions here. and if you want to use PyTorch, you have to set up this one. So you don't need to worry about these kind of backend supports, because in the coming tutorials, whenever we are using PyTorch, we will discuss this in detail before the start of the tutorial. No need to worry. Now let's dive into our example. So this is the differential equation that we are solving in this tutorial. D square y by dx square plus pi square sin pi x is equals to 0. This we are going to solve in this domain -1 comma 1, and these are the boundary conditions. So if you look at this domain, so this is our -1 end and this is our 1 end. So here it is our 0 origin. So at this end our y is equals to 0. Similarly, at this end our y is again 0, and internally our y solution varies. And how it varies, so this is our exact solution. Y of x is equals to sin pi x. These two, Matplotlib and NumPy, are two general libraries for plotting and some array and matrix manipulations, and these two libraries are very important. First, after installing this DeepXDE library, we have to import it here like this. I am installing this as a DD alias. So here I am setting the backend of this DeepXDE variable like this. From DeepXDE.backend import TF, but this will not work with for other tools like PyTorch, JAX and other things. So this is a simple way to set backend if you are working with TensorFlow. And for other thing, PyTorch and all, so we will discuss about them in the coming tutorials. Whenever we are using PyTorch, we will discuss that in detail. And next, the first and a fundamental step in any physics informed neural network is to appropriately define our main governing differential equation. That we are defining it like this using this PDE function. So here I have clearly defined the explanation about what this function does. Is this PDE function defines this differential equation, and it takes two arguments, basically x and y, and it returns this residual value. That's it. And how we are going to do that is with this grad dot Hessian function. So Hessian function calculates the second derivative of y with respect to x. Those two we are given here actually. So this is our main output quantity and this is our input quantity. So in this Hessian function, we are going to evaluate the second derivative of y with respect to x. And after evaluating this dy by dx square, so the remaining quantities like pi and sin pi x doesn't require any derivatives. All we have is the only one second order derivative here that we are evaluating in this Hessian function. And after that, after setting up this governing differential equation, next we need to define this geometry. And the geometry we are defining using this geometry module of this DeepXDE library. Within the geometry module, we have a function called interval. So this interval starts from -1 and ends at -1. So that is how we set this geometry. That's it. And remaining the coordinate generation, everything this DeepXDE library will take care on your behalf. Earlier, while generating the collocation points, we have defined everything in detail. For example, here we defined this collocation points using this -1, 1, 100 points we have generated using this linspace. But this is how we defined the geometry earlier. But now with the DeepXDE, you will just have to define a syntax like this. So it will define your one-dimensional geometry within -1, 1 boundary, and that is stored in this geometry object. After setting up this geometry object, we need to define the boundaries. So boundary means it has two parts actually. So what are those two parts? So when you take up a boundary, it has two things. One is the input value and the other one is the output value. So given a series of points between -1 and 1, you have to check whether the given point, the x coordinate, is existing on the boundary or not. If it is existing on the boundary, then we need to set its y value to 0, means the output quantity, the solution to 0. If it is not on the boundaries, then we don't bother about the output quantity. Similarly here, we need to define that. How we are going to define it is this way. So first we are setting up this boundary. So boundary means it takes the x coordinate and a special boolean variable called on boundary. As I defined here, x is the spatial coordinate. On boundary is a boolean variable, means it returns true or false if the x is on the boundary, then it returns true, else it returns false. That's it. So that is what this boundary function does. And the value of output, where, for example, if the input value is on the boundary, what is its value? So in our case, it is 0. So that's what we are doing here in this boundary function. So here we are setting, if the value is on the boundary, then we set this to 0. And this is the exact solution. So it is a sine pi x. This is our exact solution. After defining this, so here we are setting up this boundary condition. So in DeepXDE, there are many ways to set up different varieties of boundary conditions. Like you have Dirichlet BCs, you have Neumann BCs, you have Robin BCs, you have hard boundary conditions, soft boundary conditions, periodic boundary conditions. There are many sets of boundary conditions actually. For each type of boundary condition, DeepXDE supports certain class of functions under this ICBC module. Okay, so when we are setting up a Dirichlet boundary condition, those are essential boundary condition, we have to use this Dirichlet BC from this ICBC module. Okay, this Dirichlet BC takes these arguments as primary arguments. So what it takes is the geometry and the boundary function and the boundary values. So what it does is it will check whether what coordinates within this geometry are on the boundary, and whatever the coordinates that are on the boundary, it will use this boundary function to set their final values. And next is the this one PDE. Just like we set up this boundary conditions, we need to now set up the actual governing differential equation. That we will do using this PDE function. This PDE function takes these as the primary arguments. Okay, it takes the geometry and the PDE itself, and here the PDE is a function, and the BC, and this BC is this. Okay, and here these 16 and 2 points are the collocation point numbers. 16 are the number of training points that we are going to use in this physics informed neural network. These are number of basically the collocation points within the domain, and these 2 are the boundary points. Boundary points are just 2, right? One is on the left side of this domain and the other one is on the right side of this domain. That's it, only 2 points. And next, this exact solution has no use in the training process. Why we need this exact solution is because to evaluate the error after the training is done, and mainly to evaluate this metric, and this L2 relative error is evaluated with respect to the original exact solution. If you don't have, for example, some differential equations, if you are trying to solve, don't have any exact solution, you can skip this. So if you skip this, then you have to skip this L2 metric also. So this is the link, and after that these are the number of test points. So once you define this boundary condition and data objects, then we have to define our basic things actually. So this is our neural network size, and this is the activation function that we are setting up, and this is the initializer, and this is the net. FNN means fully connected neural network. Okay, let's see what are these. Here this layer size definition is very important and tricky also. Here if you look at here, so our network has one input layer and one output layer and 3 hidden layers, each layer with 50 neurons. So that is what we are defining here. So this is a kind of encrypted expression. So if you define like this, you will get the output like this actually. So keep this in mind. For example, if you want to extend this network to say to use 20 neurons in each hidden layer instead of 50, and increase the number of layers from 3 to 10 maybe, you just have to replace these numbers. So this with 20 and this with 10, that's it. It will create a new list with 1, 20, 20, 20, 20 with the 10 values of 20s and then 1. That's it. So this is how the list will be generated. So this is a little interesting thing, and but this is how DeepXDE library is using its syntax to define the layer size. And just like activation function, DeepXDE supports all sorts of activation function. You can use anything, tanh, sigmoid, relu, prelu, you can use everything. And this is the GL rot uniform initializer. So what it does is it initializes the weights and biases during the start of the training, and next with these quantities we will initialize this FNN fully connected neural network from this NN module of this DeepXDE. After setting up these things, we will now initiate our model objective. Model we are initializing with this model module. For this we are sending the inputs as a data and net. After this model object is initialized, then we are setting up this compile function. So here for the compile we are sending this Adam optimizer and the learning rate as 0.001, and metrics we are setting as L2 relative error. This DeepXDE supports other types of errors, other types of optimizers as well. But since it is a introductory tutorial, my objective here in this tutorial is to give you an overview rather than going into specifics of each object, which we will do in the coming tutorials. So after this model definition is done, we are going to train the model for 1000 epochs. Here iterations refers to the number of epochs. Okay. Model.train does the training purpose. So once you do this and run your analysis, so you will see training information like this actually. So this training information gives you main three important things. One is the train loss, test loss, and the test metric. So based on these numbers, you will verify whether your overall training is good or not. So after the at the end of 1000th epoch or iteration, these are our values. Train loss is of the order of 10 to the power of minus 5, test loss is of the order of 10 to the power of minus 4, and the test metric is of the order of 10 to the power of minus 4. These are fantastic and good. So in this tutorial you have an analytical solution, so you can definitely use it for benchmarking your pin solution. But in the cases where analytical solution or reference solution is not available, then you have to solely rely on the main governing differential equation and the boundary condition satisfaction actually. So there evaluating just this final value is not sufficient because you don't have this reference points, right? So in that case, you have to look at few more quantities like your boundary condition satisfaction, residual satisfaction. So after training your model, this is where we are visualizing our results actually. So if you use this uniform points from this JOM module, so what it gives you is it will give you a set of x points within the domain minus 1 comma 1. So here we are setting up the number of points 30. So if you use 20 points, so it will give you a plot like this. Okay, meaning it just consider 10-20 points. If you give 5 points like this, so the shape of the curve is also different. So we have to use some decent number of points to exactly represent the sine function. Okay, and after that these are our general Matplotlib commands. So this is how we use DeepXDE for solving this basic example of Poisson equation in 1D. With this DeepXDE library, there are some additional advantages like, for example, you can generate this kind of animations as well. So here the black line represents the original solution and this red line represents your training solution. You can get this kind of beautiful animations which you can present them in your dissertation seminars. So this solution that corresponds to this Euler beam, so which we will solve in our next tutorial using DeepXDE. This tutorial we are going to learn some other concepts like applying Neumann BC and some other general boundary conditions apart from the Dirichlet and Neumann BCs. Okay, and also we are going to look at another form of derivative, first order derivative evaluation using this Jacobian. Okay. That's it for this tutorial. See you in the next tutorial. Thank you. Happy learning.